Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something that has massive and, frankly, civilizational implications. We're unpacking Elon Musk's recent strategic move to train the Grok AI model on 2 full decades of internal SpaceX engineering data. We are going to look at exactly why this represents a massive pivot in how artificial intelligence actually learns and how it could completely reshape the future of human engineering as we know it. To really grasp the stakes here, think about this incredible analogy from our source material. Imagine if Steve Jobs had left behind an AI that was trained on 25 years of Apple's internal thinking. Or what if Einstein had left behind an AI trained on his entire scientific process? We aren't just talking about a smarter chatbot to write your emails. We're talking about literally digitizing the collective brain of an entire organization. And that marks a total paradigm shift. Right now, most current models are built on shallow, internet-scale information, text, articles, social media posts. But this approach leverages deep, verticalized engineering data. We're talking about over 20 years of physical trade-offs, raw CAD files, complex problem-solving, material science breakthroughs, and the exact records of why one heat shield completely failed while another succeeded. It's the leap from conversational models to an AI armed with deep, practical, real-world engineering capabilities. So, practically speaking, SpaceX's entire engineering dataset is being folded directly into Grok's upcoming 2 trillion parameter model. Now, it is important to point out that they are strictly excluding any defense-sensitive materials, but absolutely everything else, from the very first Falcon rocket iterations all the way to the latest Starship evolution, is going in. By absorbing the long systems horizon thinking of a company that builds massive verticalized systems like rockets, Grok essentially becomes a living repository of a massive engineering organization's life experience. To really understand the value of this, just think about a price tag of $1 to $2 million. That massive figure is exactly what major AI labs like OpenAI and Anthropic are reportedly offering right now for highly unique human-generated datasets. We're talking about things as obscure as 60-year-old COBOL code from legacy banks. It's what our sources are calling the human data gold rush. Competitors are desperately waking up to the fact that true alpha, the real competitive edge, comes from highly unique, non-synthetic data. Sure, you can build a lot of synthetic data, but it absolutely requires a human data foundation to work. Purely synthetic models just eventually hit a performance ceiling. So these major labs are out there digging for old HR records, legacy code, basically anything purely human. And it proves exactly why a proprietary closed-door dataset like SpaceX's engineering history is so insanely valuable. Section 1. The 3 pillars of AI dominance. In the AI industry right now, the intense competition is often compared to the Red Queen paradox from Alice in Wonderland, where you have to run as fast as you can just to stay in the exact same place. To understand how to actually win that race, you have to break AI dominance down into a 3-legged stool: algorithms for the architecture, compute for the raw processing power, and data to actually teach it. And here is where Musk is playing a very specific strategic hand. He might not be winning on algorithms right this second. In fact, the actual model architecture for Grok has been described as fairly vanilla, but he's outflanking the competition by building the equivalent of a Dyson swarm for compute. He's amassing a staggering, interconnected web of literally millions of GPUs and feeding it this incredibly unique proprietary data from his own companies. It's a brute force strategy designed to completely bypass competitors who might just have a slight edge in pure algorithm design. You can actually see this strategic gap filling playing out right now in the consumer space. While Google DeepMind is maxing out at 10 to 15 second clips, OpenAI is pivoting heavily to robotic world modeling, and Anthropic is locking in on enterprise use cases. It leaves this massive void in the consumer video generation market. And that's exactly the void Musk is looking to scoop up with Grok. And the ambitions here are just wild. Musk claims that Grok Imagine will be able to generate a historically accurate, full-length feature film of Homer's The Odyssey directly from a text prompt by December. So while competitors are abandoning this space for robotics, he's pushing for full-length movies. Though, as the sources rightfully point out, current consumer behavior shows the tool is primarily being used for, adult video generation, which obviously presents a slightly different reality than generating ancient Greek epics. Let's move on to Section 2, the Integrated Intelligence Stack. Because honestly, the consumer video market is really just a side quest in the grand scheme of things. To understand the true stakes here, we have to look at a concept called the edge twin. An edge twin is basically a highly detailed, localized digital replica of an organization's physical and operational data. Musk is essentially creating an edge twin of SpaceX right inside Grok. This is organizational intelligence entirely digitized. He's even required all SpaceX engineers to use Grok, which creates this incredible continuous feedback loop where the AI learns from the best engineers in the world in real time, and then those engineers use the AI to build better rockets. Which naturally leads directly to his next potential chess move, a full merger of Tesla and SpaceX AI. That would mean ingesting Tesla's massive engineering data corpus right into Grok as well. But it goes way beyond just the data. It's also about utilizing millions of connected devices worldwide, your Powerwalls, Teslas, future cybercabs, as distributed computing nodes to actually run these AI models. It is an absolutely staggering scale of hardware integration. And this reveals a fascinating divergence in business models across the AI landscape right now. While competitors like Anthropic are successfully chasing massive enterprise software revenue, literally aiming for a $100 billion run rate by automating white-collar work, Musk is playing a completely different game. He doesn't necessarily need that enterprise software revenue because his ultimate target is dominating the foundational hardware level itself. Because here is the end game sequence. Step 1. You build an AI that designs superior chips and better hardware. Step 2. That superior hardware builds self-improving data centers and self-improving robots. Step 3. Whoever controls the best compute ultimately dominates the intelligence space. Think about it. Eventually, any advanced AI will be able to write software. Software just becomes a commodity. But physical compute, physical hardware, that is the ultimate bottleneck. Which brings us to this wildly bizarre but incredibly revealing quote from Musk regarding the terafab. He said, "You're going to be able to smoke a cigarette while you're making a chip, clean, and a Big Mac." It sounds crazy, but it reveals a massive pivot away from traditional hardware manufacturing. Instead of requiring those hyper-fragile, pristine clean rooms to build microchips, the goal here is to design manufacturing processes that are rugged, robust, and highly adaptable. It all culminates in what our sources call the Star Trek Genesis module vision. We are talking about completely self-contained operational units capable of 3D printing chips and hardware literally anywhere, even sitting in the dust on the moon or out in deep space. It's a fully integrated ecosystem where Neuralink, Starlink, SpaceX, The Boring Company, and Tesla all feed their real-world engineering data into a central model. And that model, in turn, improves the engineering of every single company in the stack. We are literally watching the creation of a closed-loop system of physical and digital engineering that is completely unprecedented in human history. So I want to leave you with this final thought to really consider today. As all these companies feed into and learn from one singular model, who controls the future? When the AI that designs the physical hardware also builds the software that runs the world? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep your eyes glued to the hardware space because that is where the real race is being run.